And welcome back to Boom and Bust. I'm your host, Tony Clement. I'm here with Renaud Brossard, who is the Senior Director of Communications at the Montreal Economic Institute. Renaud, just want to now bring this back to the federal government's stance on renewables. There's a lot of debate going on, obviously, not only just on the carbon tax, but on the broader strategy. I'd love to know what your conclusions are based on the research that you have done about that strategy.
In terms of renewable development, we don't have any data on that, unfortunately. What we do have, though, is that when it comes to Canadian energy, Canadian resources, Canadians, I think, overwhelmingly realize that the world is much better with Canadian energy. It's much better when we can get that resource development money, when we know the environmental regulations are being applied to energy development. Honestly, in terms of renewable, we don't have that data on the survey, unfortunately. It was more focused on current Canadian energy production and what we can export.
Right. But we are also getting that debate about the current production. There's a hot debate going on between the province of Alberta right now and the federal government over what's being called a just transition, I suppose, to renewables. And Premier Danielle Smith of Alberta taking exception to that. Does Montreal Economic Institute, do you have a point of view on any of that that's going on?
Honestly, it's not a situation we have looked much into at the moment. We're still very much focused on Quebec, but I gotta admit, as a Quebecer, I always take issue when the federal government comes in and tries to tell the province what to do. And I think, at least from what we can tell from that survey, people are not as opposed to energy development as the feds put it. Like, once again, Quebec doesn't have, right now, it's illegal to exploit an oil and gas, to do some oil and gas extraction in Quebec. But Quebecers want to do it. They know that they need to have that sort of supply. They need to be able to supply to meet their own energy needs. And at the same time, we recognize that there's a demand for this oil and gas, and that we'd be fools not to make any money with it. And I think it's fair to extrapolate that most Quebecers would feel the same about other Canadian provinces. And the fact that we're much more open to having Western Canadian oil than from having it from the U.S. or from other countries in the world means that we very much want that development to happen in Canada much more than everywhere else. And let's be frank, it's very clear that there is a market for Canadian energy. Last August, the German Chancellor was in Ottawa pleading to be able to get more natural gas. Just this month now, actually, just last week, the Prime Minister of Japan was in Ottawa pleading for more natural gas. So the world wants more Canadian energy, and I mean, we'd be fool to leave it to the ground and say no to the billions of dollars that would come with it.
Yeah, no, this is a common refrain on Boom and Bust here about Germany and now Japan wanting our product, natural gas, which is a cleaner fuel than coal and some of the other options available. And the Prime Minister saying that for some reason that there's no business case. So I'd love to know, do you think that as a result of your findings, we've got about a minute left, but as a result of your findings, Quebecers are going to be more outspoken about these issues?
I'm not sure if they're going to be more outspoken, but I think it's more of a silent majority case because we've noticed those numbers for years. It's not the first time we're polling, and every single year, Quebecers are much more in favor of developing than they are opposed to developing. So I think it's just a matter of a silent majority that is struggling to be heard in the current media narrative and media landscape in the province, fortunately.
Well, we wish you every success in your continued research. Montreal Economic Institute is a very well-known think tank and doing a lot of excellent research in some of these areas that are sometimes ignored by the mainstream media or ignored by governments as well. So congratulations on the work that you're doing and best of luck in the future.
Well, thank you, sir, and thanks for having us.
For sure. Thank you. Would like to thank Renaud Brossard again, Senior Director of Communications for Montreal Economic Institute, for being on the program today. Very interesting polling results in the province of Quebec that kind of blows up some theories that Quebecers are always against non-renewable energy security. So we'll continue to follow this story. Thanks for watching today.